Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
It spilled over from the streets to the freeways. Michigan State Police investigating a number of freeway shootings and hoping a new piece of technology will help get it to stop. Really good to have you with us on this Monday for Local 4 News at 5. I'm Devin Skillian.
And I'm Kimberly Gill. State police are investigating 3 separate shootings on local freeways in just the past few days. First happened Saturday on the Davison, right near the I-75 intersection. Then late last night, shots fired on I-96 near Martin Luther King Boulevard on the west side. Then early this morning, a shooting on I-375 right around downtown. Sean Lay is live at that last location with what police are saying and what's being done to stop it, Sean.
Good evening, Kimberly and Devin. Let me show you exactly where this shooting took place. We're right above 375 here. This is an area you need to know. They're covered by license plate readers from MSP. So every plate going through or on every vehicle is being read, which means investigators already had the plate of the car involved in this shooting. Take a look. 3 freeway shootings in Detroit in 2 days. Saturday, a fight in a neighborhood moves to the Davison near 75, where someone opened fire on a vehicle. Overnight, on 96 near MLK, a semi-driver from Georgia under arrest tonight, believed to have been driving his rig under the influence, opens fire on a driver after the two were involved in an accident. Then on 375 near downtown, a car sprayed with bullets after an incident at the Annex nightclub downtown carries over onto the freeway. A night out for a 27-year-old woman riding in the backseat of a car ends with her being shot to death. A 30-year-old man sitting next to her in the back seat also shot and is in critical condition.
We know it's not random, just by the way that the gunshots were into the car.
MSP investigators are looking at security cameras in the area, but those investigators may also get a license plate number of the car involved in the deadly shooting. We put Drone 4 up over the area of the 375 shooting because I want to tell you about something you may not know. When you travel through areas like this or other parts of the state, MSP has put up license plate readers. Your plate is being read. Now, in cases like violence on the freeway, that will help MSP track down the vehicle used in a freeway shooting.
We don't need a make and model from a witness anymore, or somebody that says, I saw this car. We're able to use that technology to actually put cars in those places.
Back here live now, license plate readers not used in the Davison shooting. We were up there and saw plenty of MSP there investigating. An arrest was made. In the situation with the trucker today, they were able to arrest him as well. No arrests here yet, but Devin and Kimberly, as you know, the license plate leaders giving MSP certainly a head start on finding the people involved. Back to you.
They definitely are. I didn't know about them until you just mentioned them, Sean.
Yep.
Are they on every freeway in the area?
Not yet. Here, 96 Southfield Freeway. They've already helped in that area as well. But other areas in the state, and Lieutenant Shaw from MSP says the goal here is to get them all over the state.
Okay, Sean, thank you. Our other top story here at 5 o'clock, gun rights advocates are blasting calls for a so-called gun-free zone in downtown Detroit.
This idea was floated following that weekend of violence in Greektown and on the riverfront. Victor Williams live with the latest on this for us. Victor.
Yeah, Devin and Kimberly, these groups are totally against Greektown becoming gun-free zones. In fact, they're saying that that will make the safety issue even worse.
The idea of making Greektown into a gun-free zone is not going to help make anyone safer, and it is an infringement on people's basic rights.
Activists gather in Greektown speaking out against what could potentially become a no-gun zone in Greektown, a reactive move to combat recent hikes in violence.
I don't believe the correct response to the violence that we have had in our city is to deny basic liberties to the residents.
Advocate Scotty Bowman says this could be a strong possibility in just days.
Tomorrow they will be voting on a resolution to have the state of Michigan change the law so that they can make gun-free zones within the city. I think it's best to have responsible gun owners who can actually respond and help protect and help stop active shooters when they start to do harm to others.
Another speaker included firearms instructor and advocate Rick Ector, who says there's also concerns of African Americans being disproportionately targeted by these laws.
Gun laws tend to be most stringent in communities of color in the city of Detroit. We have a long history of having to undo gun laws across the state.
Police Commissioner Willie Burton says he sees both sides, being a supporter of red flag laws, yet hoping not to infringe on anyone's rights.
I don't want to see someone's constitutional rights being violated, which streets they should be able to walk up or walk down, or shouldn't walk up or walk down. I think Detroit is for everyone.
Now, no city council members were able to comment on this matter today, but it's going to be interesting to see how they vote tomorrow. Victor Williams, Local 4.
Boy, it sure will, and we will follow that then. All right, Victor. A man was injured after he shot himself during an armed confrontation with police near a school.
2 men were spotted with a ski mask and gun this morning near Rawsonville Elementary School. That's in Ypsilanti Township. When police approached the men, they took off running. The man carrying the gun shot himself in the stomach and the leg. The injured man was taken to the hospital. The other is being held at the Washtenaw County Jail. General Motors says it has cut several hundred contractor jobs. The cuts are happening at several locations, including the Warren Tech Center. GM is trying to save $2 billion by the end of next year. The automaker offered voluntary buyouts earlier this year, saying it was able to save about $1 billion from that.
President Biden focusing on small businesses today as he faces economic headwinds, including, of course, bank stress from over the weekend, tighter lending conditions, and the looming debt ceiling deadline. The 2024 presidential race is taking shape as well. Alice Barr shows us how pressure is mounting to resolve these issues that could have a major impact on voters. Alice.
Good evening. With recent polls showing little enthusiasm for either of the leading presidential candidates heading into 2024, the state of the economy is likely to be the most critical factor, and that's where President Biden is focused today. Amid fresh concerns about the health of the nation's economy, President Biden today addressing the third major bank collapse in less than 2 months. First Republic Bank has been taken over by federal regulators, set to be sold to J.P. Morgan.
While depositors are being protected, shareholders are losing their investments. And critically, taxpayers are not the ones that are on the hook.
Adding to the economic anxiety, the looming fight over raising the debt limit to avoid a catastrophic default. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy pressing President Biden to negotiate after House Republicans passed a debt limit deal that includes massive spending cuts.
We will not pass a debt ceiling that just raises it without doing something about our debt.
The president firing back.
We pay our bills, and we should do so without reckless hostage taking from some of the mega Republicans in Congress.
With the state of the economy already shaping the 2024 race for the White House, the Republican frontrunner, former President Donald Trump, in Scotland opening a new golf course at his resort, while vowing Make America Great Again is on his mind. Also swirling around him a host of legal challenges, including a civil rape and defamation lawsuit underway in New York. A judge today denying the Trump team's bid for a mistrial. Likely GOP rival Florida Governor Ron DeSantis in an escalating legal fight of his own with one of his state's largest employers, Disney. A board of supervisors DeSantis picked now countersuing Disney after the company alleged a campaign of political retaliation. President Biden called on Congress today to tighten regulations to prevent any other banking collapses. Also on Capitol Hill, the Senate's top Democrat announced hearings to, quote, expose the truth about House Republicans' debt ceiling bill. In Washington, Alice Barr, Local 4.
All right, Alice, and ahead here in just a couple of minutes, we will show you the different approach being taken with First Republic Bank customers to keep their deposits safe.
All right, now to the weather, and a serious question here, okay, guys? If April showers bring May flowers, then what does May snow bring? My goodness, take a look. Live pictures from Marquette, where snow's been dumping there for most of the day.
Let's head west from there to the Keweenaw Peninsula. Snow falling at Michigan Tech, although not as bad right there. As you can see, it is starting to fall, but not as much covering the ground. But, you know, folks in the UP are tougher than a $2 steak. As for us down here, we're still waiting for things to get a little bit better here with May.
Come on, we can't catch a break, Kim.
Do you know why we didn't actually answer the question? Because we're not HBO. That's why. It is snowing heavily in the UP, including Marquette. Marquette's the heaviest, as you saw by those live pictures. They could pick up, are you ready for this? Inland, now by the shore, not as much, but inland, as much as an additional 1.5 feet to maybe even 2 feet of wet, heavy snow. But it snows all the way down into Traverse City, some rain mixed with snow in Alpena, and oh yes, we are going to get in on just a little bit of it, just a taste of it overnight tonight. But right now, just some very light rain showers out and about as we zoom in and do some street level mapping. Brighton, also Green Oak, Salem will eventually get a few sprinkles, and then moving into Plymouth, but right now dry in Plymouth, Farmington Hills, and in West Bloomfield. And then you go just down to the south and in parts of Monroe County getting some light rain now as well. So this evening, expect those temperatures to drop, and after about 9 or 10 o'clock tonight, we will see a few light snow showers here in Metro Detroit, and I'll have details on that in the forecast.
All right, Kim, a new study of more than 40,000 kids shedding new light on the impacts of the pandemic.
New tonight, what it says about depression and how we may still feel the effects for years to come.
Also, why President Biden's son had to go before a judge today in Arkansas. Karen.
I have no idea how many dogs in population here, but I can tell you it's a big population.
So many dogs shot dead in the street by police.
The fact is, Detroit still has a stray dog problem.
Who is to blame for all the dog shootings? Local 4 investigators expose the issue coming up.